Okay, let's take a look at sections 4.6 and 4.7. And that's what the quiz is going to be tomorrow. All right, so 10 questions. The first three, they're two-parters, but you got to get them both right to get it right. Okay, so make sure you get them both right. So numbers 1 to 3, number 1 to 3 are pretty much all the same. It's the congruent statement problems. You had it on the quiz before this one. Remember that? Where I give you some triangles and I give you some information about them, and you have to decide. Well, they're all congruent. I'll tell you right now, they're all congruent. But you got to tell me the congruent statement, right? Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. That's a congruent statement. And you have to tell me the congruence theorem that justifies it. Now, this one, on this quiz, it's only the right triangle ones. So do you remember I actually list them for you. I list them for you on the quiz, so that's kind of nice. So leg is one of them. Hypotenuse angle is another one. Leg angle is one. And hypotenuse leg is one. So I'm going to give you a triangle. You're going to have a right triangle in there, okay? Because they're all about right triangles. And you have to tell me, why are they congruent to each other? All right? Not why. Yeah, why? So you pick one of these, but you also have to write a congruent statement, right? So what would that be? Like triangle, again, we'll just use a simple one. ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. It's just an example. It's not necessarily one that's on the quiz, but that's what you do. So you tell which triangles are congruent and then give me a reason why they are congruent, okay? I don't know, leg angle, we'll say. Everybody got that? So it's a two-parter. One part, two parts. And I even put the blanks on there. If you look at the quiz that you took the last time that I gave back to you, it'll look just like that, except these are right triangles now. We're not using angle, angle, side. We're not using the side, 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 or any of those other ones. Side angle, side angle, side angle. We're not doing those. These are the ones that you're choosing. Everybody got that? All right, so that's 1 to 3. So make sure you look over those. Okay. 4, 5, and 6 all have to do with the mid-segment. We just went over a homework. And to tell you the truth, the ones that you did on the homework were a lot harder than the ones on the quiz. The ones on the quiz, super easy compared to the ones we just did. All right? Because, well, I would say on 4, 5, and 6. 7, 8, 9, and 10 are kind of like the ones we just went over. Okay? So 4, 5, and 6, what I'll do is I'll give you a triangle. Let's find a triangle down here. I'll just find some random triangle. Let's use this one. All right, so numbers, did I write down 4, 5, and 6? I didn't. So numbers 4 to 6 are going to be something like this. I'm not going to give you an exact problem or anything. I'll just show you basically what it looks like. I'll tell you what, it'll probably be a little straighter like this. And then I will give you a mid-segment. Let's just find a mid-segment. So there's midpoint of this side. Let's find the midpoint of this side. It doesn't really show you there, but we could always do this. All right, let's say I connected the midpoints. Okay? You with me on that? So there we go. There we go. It's supposed to be a double thing. And I could tell you, like, I don't know, let's say that's 10. And I ask you to find, we'll just call it AB. Forget all the other letters. I'll put other letters in there on the quiz. But if I asked for AB, what does AB equal to? Just by that information. It's 5, right? Because this is a mid-segment, isn't it? How do you know it's a mid-segment? Because it connects what? 2 midpoints. That's right. It connects 2 midpoints. So the third side is going to be twice as big as the mid-segment. Or the mid-segment is going to be what? Half the third side. So that would be 5. Everybody got that? Yeah, it is. Well, it's common sense after you know what mid-segment is, okay? But before you knew the mid-segment, it's really not common sense. But we talked about why it's the half of this. All right, but there you go. Yeah, well, I could do either way, right? Right, I could give you a mid-segment, you got to find the third side. Simple, right? And then I could give you one where it's like x plus 5 or something like that, okay? And you got to find this. What would this be? It'd be 2x, or 2 times, parentheses, x plus 5, correct? Or 2x plus 10, yeah. Or, actually, the one on the quiz goes a little bit further than that. What do you think they do on the quiz? Now, I don't know if this works or not, okay? So, I don't know. But let's say that this was 3x minus 2. Just making up numbers off the top of my head, okay? So, if I asked you for the length of this one, we'll call this one AB, what would I do? I'd have to find x, right? And then do what? Plug it back in and find the length of it. How would I set this up to find x? I don't know if this comes out pretty or not. I just made this up. What's the relationship between this and this? Okay, this is what? Half of this. Or you could say, it would be easier, so I don't have to work with a half. You could say the third side is what? Right, is equal to twice the mid-segment. Correct? You with me on that? And then you do the math, solve for x, plug it in, and then you got AB. So I'll tell you right now, that's kind of like number 6 on the quiz. So 4 and 5 are the easy ones, like I did before with that, one's the mid-segment being 5 and the third side being 10. Okay, this one, now again, I don't know if this comes out nice and pretty. It's not the same numbers, I'll tell you that. But that's what you would do, all right? So the third side is twice as big as the mid-segment. Or if you wanted to, you could say what? The mid-segment is what compared to the third side? Half of the third side, okay? So you could do it either way, couldn't you? So then after you find x, you solve the equation? Yeah. Well, you solve for the length of the side, yeah. So, do your math. You can do that. I don't have to go over that. Solve for x, plug it into this, and then you got that length right there. We got it? Okay. 7, 8, 9, and 10. I think you've got one very similar to this. In fact, might even be close to what we did today. But again, I give you another triangle. I draw the mid-segment, but this time I put the ordered pairs. What numbers in? This is 7 through 10. Okay? So I think there's one that looks like this in the book. What numbers is that? 7 through 10. All right, so it might look something like this. It's going to be a triangle. The fact that this looks like a right triangle really doesn't matter. I just drew it that way, okay? But what I'm going to do, again, I'm not going to do a specific problem for you, okay? You can look it up. But I'm going to give you the ordered pairs for all of these points. Yep, I give you the ordered pair for every one of these points. I mean, there are going to be numbers in there, okay? Not just going to be blank. Everybody got that? Okay, there are actually going to be numbers in there, okay? And you have to find a couple things. You're going to find the slope of 2 line segments, all right? So you're going to find the slope of 2 things, 2 slopes, okay? Everybody with me? And then you're going to find the length of 2 line segments. So you're going to find 2 lengths. So you're going to find 2 slopes, you're going to find 2 lengths. What do you think you're going to find the slopes of? Which ones? Yeah, this one right here and this one right here, okay? So you're going to find the slope of this one and this one. Take a wild guess what might be true about those slopes. Shouldn't be a wild guess. Yeah, they're going to be parallel. Why? Because this is probably the what? The mid-segment, all right? And they don't tell you it's the mid-segment, but you should probably be able to figure it out by doing what? Finding the midpoint between this and this, okay? And that will be, I'll tell you right now, that will be the mid-segment, or that would be the midpoint. And this point right here will be the midpoint of this, okay? So you're finding the slopes, so that means that this one and that one, you just find the slope between them. You know how to find slope, right? y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So you find that slope. Then you're going to take this point and this point, find the slope between them. Now, once you get it, a way to figure out if you did it right or not would be what? How would you know if you got the slopes right? Well, I can't. Hands in front of your face. I can't hear you. Say it. I thought you said it right. No? Something else? Look, remember I said this is a mid-segment problem, okay? So if I find the slope of this segment and I find the slope of this segment, how would you know on the quiz if you had a good chance of getting them right? What should be true about both of those slopes? They should be the same, right? So if you get the slope of this being 2/3 and the slope of this being 3/5, you must have messed up somewhere. Make sense? So I would check them both, right? Make sure. Maybe you got one right and one wrong. Maybe you got them both wrong. I don't know. Everybody understand that? So they will be parallel to each other. So both slopes should be the same. All right? So make sure you do them. All right? Don't just do one of them and say, oh, the other one's going to be the same thing, because you might have messed up doing the first one. Does that make sense? All right? So find the slopes of both of them. If they come out to be the same number, the same fraction, then you probably did it right. Probably. Okay? Unless you messed up the same exact way on both of them. Okay? That could be true too. But if you came out with two completely different numbers, you know at the very least, one of them's wrong. Okay? Smart. The lengths is just the distance formula. Okay? So you would use the same 2 points and put them into the distance formula. You remember distance formula, right? It's this thing right here. I'll write it down. x1 minus x2, y1 minus y2. There you go. So that's how you'd find the lengths. Use the distance formula to find that. Obviously, use the slope formula to find the two slopes. So that's what you're doing on 7, 8, 9, and 10. Denise. What thing on the board? This? No. No, because everything's going to come out. This will come out to a nice number. Okay. So once you take the square root of it, what are some of the numbers that come out nice? Square root of what? 4, square root of 9, square root of 16. Everybody got that? Square root of 25. I just gave a quiz on this to the CP kids. Square root of 9. What times itself is 9? These numbers should just pop out at you, don't they? They don't pop out at you? What's the next one? Square root of 36. What's the next one? 49. Right, because all you're doing is going what? 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared. What's the next one? 64. Square root of 64, right? So if they come, I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you way too much information, all right, making this way too easy for you, but I want you to do well. Listen, there's still a lot of talking, and I'm in the middle of talking and saying stuff. Thank you. So it'll come out to be something like this, okay? It'll come out. Don't leave it square root of 49. What would you write your answer as? 7. What would you write that answer as? 6. That. 5. No. Listen, if you guys would let me finish my thought, then I would have got to that, because that's where I was heading before everybody started talking. I was going to say, in my CP class, we gave a quiz on distance formula, midpoint formula, and slope, okay? Several kids did it right, They got the distance formula right. They put the numbers in right, and they got square root of 25. And guess what they wrote? They wrote square root of 25, but then they wrote equals the square root of 5. Does the square root of 25 equal to the square root of 5? No. What is the square root of 5 or 25? It's just 5. Okay? The square root of 5 comes out to be like 2.1 or 2.2, something like that. Okay? Are they the same? No, they're not. So look, the square root of 25 is not the same as the square root of 5. But the square root of 25 is what? It's just plain old 5. The whole number 5. It is not a square root of 5. It's just a plain 5. Everybody got that? For some reason, don't know why, not everybody, too many people want to make that the square root of 5. It's not the square root of 5. It's just 5. Because what is the square root asking you? It's saying, what number times what? See, when I pause, everybody pays attention. Why didn't you listen the first time? Listen. What does it mean to do a square root of something? What number times itself, right, is equal to 25? So what number times itself, the same number, equals 25? 5. 5 times 5 is 25, right? So the number is 5. Agreed? It's not the square root of 5. That's completely wrong. And I marked it wrong on their quiz. They wrote square root of 25. They did everything right. They even wrote square root of 25, but then they wrote equals the square root of 5. I can't use that, and they circled it. I cannot say, I can't give them credit for it, okay, because the answer is not the square root of 5. We good? All right. Well, any other questions on this? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, this is the hardest one, but really, even that's not hard. They give you a couple points, right? It's like going back to chapter 3, right? When you did, just had to do midpoint and find the distance between 2 points. That's really all that boils down to, all right? But you know also that if this is a midpoint and that's a midpoint, then this is a mid-segment. So that means that this has to be half of this. Got it? All right. And they got to be the same slope because they're parallel to each other. All right, enough of that. Study for it, okay? Go over it. Don't just think you got it right now, tonight. Go over some homeworks that you did on it. Watch a video, scan through it, hit a couple spots on there you might not be too familiar with, and be ready for the quiz tomorrow. I'm not going to give you a whole time tomorrow to work on it, okay? I'll probably give you about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour at the most. This really should only take you like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay? Because the next lesson is a little bit, oh, you know what? No, that's for the next class. Sorry. That was Algebra 2. Because I'll just let you do the quiz tomorrow. I don't think, did I have anything else? Nope, I just had quiz tomorrow. That's all we'll do. Maybe we'll start, no, that's our last lesson. Let's see, what do I have for Friday? Review for chapter test. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll just start reviewing for the test on Thursday. We'll finish the review on Friday. And then we'll take the test probably Monday. Okay? I know, I do too, but that's the way it worked out. Okay. Study for this. Be ready for it.